Search the best places to live in Denver, Colorado, and you'll see the same names pop up almost every single time. And sure, some of them deserve the attention, but Denver changes so fast once you start comparing the map. A few miles can completely change your commute, your budget, and what everyday life looks like. And that's why some of the best options never get talked about the right way. And there's one spot in particular that I already know is going to raise some eyebrows. Here's where Denver starts messing with your expectations just a little bit. A lot of folks hear Denver neighborhood and think older homes, tighter streets, alley garages, and parking that feels like a competitive sport. Then you get into Central Park and go, okay, Denver isn't just city and tight streets. Central Park was built on the former Stapleton Airport site, roughly 4,700 acres with about 1,100 acres planned around parks and open space. What that actually means is it turns into 60 parks, 62 miles of trails, and 7 neighborhood pools in one little area. So the whole neighborhood was laid out with a lot more structure than many older parts of Denver. The interesting part is the setup. You still get a Denver address, but the layout creates newer home options and easier routes to I-70 DIA, Northfield, and the Anschutz Medical Campus in Aurora. Now, here's the thing, you're going to pay for that setup. Pricing can jump fast depending on the specific location, especially near parks, town center areas, or stronger access points. Central Park can be a really solid fit, but you want to make sure you just understand the micro locations before getting attached to the first home that pops up online. So if you're watching this and thinking, okay, I like what you're talking about so far, but I have no idea where I'd actually fit, guys, that's where we can help. My name is Patrick Laurienti. I'm a local realtor here in the Denver area. I've been doing business 12 years. I grew up here. I'm a native here. My real estate team and I help people make real estate decisions here every day. So whether you're moving here from out of state, already local, comparing neighborhoods, thinking about buying or selling, or just trying to understand what the market actually looks like right now, we've got you. You know what to do, call or text. Now let's get on to the next spot, Wash Park. Now before you even pull up the map, Wash Park already has a reputation. A lot of the attention starts with the park itself. Washington Park covers about 155 acres. You have Smith Lake, Gransmere Lake, an interpaved loop around 2.3 miles, and an outer dirt path surrounding it that's about 2.6 miles. Now, location is a big part of the pool here. You're near Downing Street, Cherry Creek's a skip away, South Gaylord Street, and Old South Pearl, which gives you a ton of amenities nearby without having to cross the entire metro for dinner, errands, or a quick stop after work. But let's get into the housing conversation because this is where a lot of people slow down. In and near Wash Park, you'll see older brick homes, bungalows, you have Tudors, pop tops, and newer construction homes all mixed in. And one cool thing that a lot of people don't know about is over by Old South Pearl, the farmers market actually runs Sunday from 9 to 1. This is occurring from May all the way into November. And with just about any corridor in and around Wash Park, it adds restaurant, local retail, wellness spots, and coffee into the mix. Now I want to stop you guys and ask you for a quick favor, because we could get in the car and drive to each of these neighborhoods for a video like this, but I'm curious if you would prefer that, or if you don't actually mind and you're okay with us at the home office or outside giving you the information and overlaying with B-roll. All that helps so we can make you the perfect video. The big mistake people make is treating Sloan's Lake like it explains the whole area. Sloan's Lake gets talked about like one clean neighborhood choice. In reality, the lake, West Colfax, Edgewater, and Lakewood Edge each bring their own pricing, housing options, parking questions, and homework. The lake is the major anchor on this side of Denver. Sloan's Lake Park is about 290 acres, well bigger than Wash Park, and the lake itself is roughly 177 acres. It's a big lake, so you can get water access, open space, in a West Denver location that still keeps you close to the city. Now, housing gets way more technical here. You'll see older homes, renovated homes, condos, newer townhomes with rooftop space and larger projects all along West Colfax. Recent numbers had Sloan's Lake around $885,000 for a median sales price, with homes averaging about 9 days on market. Guys, that's quick in a market that is heavily favored towards buyers. Now, for food and easy plans, you gotta go to Edgewater Public Market, and is one of the main hubs. You have Dumpling Spot, Sagon Noodle Club, Sloan's Wood Fired Pizza, Acacia, and Rogers Liquid Oasis, to name a few. Guys, I could keep going. The list goes on. The takeaway is simple. Do not get seduced by the name. Look at the street. You want to look at parking setup. Is there an HOA if you're buying townhome? And what's the construction like nearby? Also, distance from the water. Because Sloan's Lake, it's big, it's this neighborhood, but again, you can certainly pick the right place, but end up in the wrong spot. Around here, convenience is not the problem. The question is, how much city energy do you want close by? In Highlands and Lodi, the hard part usually isn't finding something close. It's choosing what's worth leaving the house for. Highlands Square sits around West 32nd and Lowell. The Highlands Bridge is gonna pull you right into downtown, and Union Station is just across the way. Now, Lodi packs a lot into a small footprint. You can grab coffee, meet for dinner, catch a drink, or walk toward the city without turning this whole thing into a production. Now, the housing, budget starts getting serious. I'm pulling up real live numbers as of making this video, and a single family house median price point in Lodi is $840,000. You're going to pay for all the convenience that comes in these types of areas. Now, enough about numbers. What kind of houses are you getting here? Well, you get a good mix. You'll see older homes, modern townhomes, condos, rooftop decks, higher end infill, and plenty of vertical layouts. Highlands and Lodi, they can be a great fit. If you're looking for restaurants, downtown access, and an active city feel close by, for the right setup, it's one of the most fun parts of Denver to live in. In central Denver, a massive park can completely change the search. City Park and the Park Hill Edge are a great example. You're still close to the core, but the pull here comes from bigger institutions in public spaces. City Park is Denver's largest urban park at more than 300 acres, and having the zoo and museum right there gives this section more than a green space with a trail around it. The museum is also getting a $20 million renovation, theater, lobby, and plaza upgrade. So this corner of Denver keeps getting investment and attention, and personally something I'm excited about because I grew up here. It's about time our Denver Museum, which is a huge place, a great place even to take the kids, bunches of fun, it's time for them to get a renovation. Now again, let's talk about housing. Housing here changes quickly depending on where you land. Near Colfax and 17th, expect more density. You're gonna have street activity, you're gonna have a lot of condos, apartments, and other buildings. Now toward the Park Hill edge, it gets more residential, older detached homes, and much wider streets. City Park and Park Hill Edge come in at number 6 because they give you central Denver position, a massive park, cultural institutions, neighborhood food spots, and several housing lanes in one part of town. When your focus starts leaning west towards the mountains, the budget gets more serious. And Golden, Colorado usually explains why. Look, the location gives Golden a very clear identity. Clear Creek runs right through the town. Lookout Mountain sits above it. Washington Ave is the main drag, and you have one of our prolific schools, Colorado School of Mines, which is right in the middle. So Golden gives you a lot of Colorado without making you drive deep into the mountains first. Now the town center also has plenty to offer. Downtown Golden has the Golden Mill. You have Tributary Food Hall, Woody's Woodfire Pizza, which is like, hold on, stop. You're in Golden, you gotta stop by Woody's. You just have to. Look, I'm born and raised here. This Woody's Woodfire Pizza was a staple when I was young and still is today. Add in the Coors Brewery Tour and the Railroad Museum, and Golden is a lot more than a good-looking welcome sign. Now, here's the price reality. In Golden, the average price point is $984,000. You gotta pay to stay. It's just one of those places that's special, and the median days in MLS from when you put a sign in the yard to when you sell is 19 days. So the desirability is real here, and you're gonna have to pay for it. Now, the next stop stays on the west side, but the appeal is less about the postcard view and more about how many ways you can live there. We're talking about Arvada. Guys, it's the perfect spot to get your taste of Golden and your taste of downtown. And it has one of the best downtowns, which is called Old Town. And it's usually the first reason Arvada clicks. And what's cool is we've done a full breakdown of Arvada on this channel. So stay tuned and I'll show you exactly how to find it. Now in Arvada, you have second house kitchen and libations inside the original 1882 Arvada schoolhouse. Over 2,000 whiskeys, plus Arvada Tavern, New Image Brewing, and Lady Nomada all nearby. The G line adds another layer. You have 11.2 miles with stops to Old Town Arvada, Arvada Ridge, and 60th and Sheridan. Then Arvada spreads out. around Rawson Creek Valley, Apex Center, and Majestic View Park, you start getting trail connections, parks, and room along the edges. Now, let's get to your favorite part, or maybe my favorite part, the real estate. Typing in Arvada, you have an average price of $662,000 with a median days in MLS of 19. Arvada is a local hotspot. Even in a slower market, Arvada is one of those places that just stays hot. Like if you have the right house in the right location, that's pretty much all of Arvada. The bulk of Arvada is smaller homes built in 70s, 80s. You get a lot of split levels, a lot of homes right around that 2,000 square foot range. Now, don't get me wrong, there are options if you need bigger house, but most of those options are not central Arvada. You're having to go a little west, you're having to go a little north, and you kind of get away from that core of Old Town. Arvada can be a smart northwest metro play, but the specific location does a ton of the work. On the southwest side, Littleton, Colorado keeps landing near the top. Littleton is 100% in my top 3 favorite places that if I were moving, sold this house, we'd be looking at homes in Littleton. Look, the strength comes from how the pieces line up. You have historic downtown, Main Street, Santa Fe, C470, Aspen Grove, Chatfield Street Park, and the South Platte River, all helping Littleton feel tied together instead of scattered. Now, the Mary Carter Greenway is one of the biggest reasons Littleton ranks this high. It runs about 8 miles along the South Platte through 880 acres of open space. Now on the pricing side, this might change the conversation for you or might not. But when we look at Littleton pricing, you're not gonna be paying golden prices depending on your spot, but it is higher than a lot of the suburbs in Denver Metro. At an average price of $741,000 for all property types. But when you put in single family residences, a house with a yard, you're looking at $843,000 for an average home. And I will tell you, a lot of those homes with 4,000 square feet plus, you're probably gonna be paying $1 million plus. Now look, you could find something in the mid 600s, no doubt, but the majority of buyers here, if you really want optionality and to pick the different types of houses and neighborhood, you're gonna be paying $800-900 plus with a good handful of homes, like I said, north of that $1 million. But the core of Littleton is established. You got trees, you got bigger lots, you got bigger yards, and it's just a special place when it comes to the suburbs around the Denver Metro. Every once in a while, a suburb feels less random and more like someone built the operating manual first. It's not like they built this neighborhood and then an afterthought was this neighborhood and all of a sudden you have this collection of like a little funky, right? Not Highlands Ranch. You can clearly see that when you drive through. The infrastructure is absolutely the main story. Highlands Ranch has more than 2,000 acres of open space, 70 miles of trails, 4 full-scale recreation centers, 2 18-hole golf courses, and 16 local parks. Guys, that's a ton of stuff. That's not, here's a pool and a clubhouse, good luck. That's a full suburban operating system. And you're not missing out on convenience. You've got the town center, Highlands Ranch Marketplace, and Park Meadows close by in Lone Tree. So errands, fitness, shopping, and the south side access are all easy to organize around. Now, what we've been doing for each of these areas, we're gonna pull up the pricing here. And for Highlands Ranch, it's just a step above Littleton, which is actually kind of surprising, but the average price point for Highlands Ranch comes in at $807,000. Now, that's why Highlands Ranch sits at number 2. Southside, organization, trails, rec centers, open space, and useful routes toward DTC, Lone Tree, and C470. But the final pick, the ones that you've all been waiting for, sits further southeast, and that distance is exactly what gives it room to compete with the better known names. After you run the full Denver Metro through price, access, inventory, commute, and the long-term growth, Parker, Colorado earns the number 1 spot because it solves the practical side of the decision. If you want southeast access, newer home options, more space to work with in a town center, Parker is one of the top suburbs, period. It's got that energy of those folks that are sick of a city or a suburb that just feels too tight. They're picking Parker. It gives you more space without sacrificing all the amenities you need. But let's slow down just a little bit and let's start with the movement piece. If your life already pulls you southeast, Parker clicks fast. If you need downtown Denver every day, guys, please test that drive during the real hours you would use it. Now, along Main Street, Parker has a legitimate local center, and I love Main Street. You have places like O'Brien Park, the Pay Center, restaurants, shops, and the Parker Farmers Market on Sundays with 70 plus vendors. And there's major investment going here. Downtown Parker has been tied to more than $400 million in planned investments through 2023. That's crazy, $400 million for a city. Now the outdoor piece is gonna add another layer. You have 41 miles of trails, 14 parks, and over 1,100 acres of open space. Now on the housing side, Parker gives several lanes, all right? You've got the everyday buyer neighborhoods and the master plan communities, but Parker also has a really sneaky good luxury scene. But when we look at the average price point for Parker, we're coming in at $751,000. Now Parker lands at number one because the full package: Southeast access, a real local center, newer options, more space, trails, and growth without forcing every decision through central Denver. And with the pricing, you do have a good mix. You can find something at $500,000-600,000, but also has that luxury scene and neighborhoods that you just can't find everywhere. Big takeaway: don't fall in love with the name. Get clear on the streets. I want you to drive during the times you drive it. Look at the different home styles, the taxes, the HOA costs, and what your monthly actually gets you in real life. Denver has a lot of great options, but the right choice comes down to your budget, commute, home style, and the part of towns you need to stay connected to. If you're serious about making a move in or around Denver and you're trying to narrow down which part of the metro fits your goals, my team and I would love to help you. My name is Patrick Laurienti. I'm a local realtor here in the Denver area and have been for 12 years. And guys, I grew up here. I am a native. So send over the places on your radar. What are you trying to accomplish? What matters most for your next move? We're gonna help you sort through the list of options in a way that feels clear and a lot less overwhelming. So call, text, or email us using the information on the screen or down in the description below. And look, if you're still early, no worries. Keep on going here right on this channel. We've got community tours, home tours, and local breakdowns that help you understand living in Denver, Colorado. Go ahead and click the video on the screen now, and I'll see you over there. Cheers.